Yep. So let us look at the second rule for making split. Your splits must encompass the whole dictionary from the level above. It should add up to 100%. Use a common basis for boxes within a split. Alright, let us look at this example once again. In this incorrect dictionary, are you having all the fruits? You're not having all the fruits. So if you sum up everything, is it giving you 100% of the fruits on this world? It's not giving us. Anuj, is this clear? Incorrect thing? Why is it incorrect?
Because it's not adding up, is it?
Yeah, it's not adding up to 100% of the fruits. Because we have watermelon, we have grapes, we have multiple other fruits, right? We are not providing all those things here. So it's not.
Still, I'm little bit unclear about what we are trying to achieve. What we are trying to achieve here basically by doing this splitting?
What is the problem in our company? The problem in our company is that the sales is low.
Okay.
Then you take that as a main problem. My sales is low. Why is my sales low? Because of multiple reasons. Maybe there are no new products which I can sell. That is why my sales is not increasing. Maybe there is no variety in my products. I'm selling only televisions. I have a shop. I'm selling only televisions. But there are many other shops which sell television, which sell fridge, which sell washing machine, iron box, camera, everything in one shop. So when you compare with them, you do not have variety. You do not have new products. You do not have sufficient salespeople. All these are contributing to your low sales. Agree with this? Now again you split it down further. Variety. I do not have variety in my products. I do not have variety in my brands. Right? I do not have variety in my aesthetics. That means colors. If I want to go with fridge, probably I want to go with white color, but white color is not there with me. So these are all the various reasons once again. But when you are splitting it down, you're going to give a number to this. Why are my sales low? Because there are no new products. Because there are no new products, 23% of the customers are going away from my shop. They're not purchasing anything. Because there are no varieties, they come and ask you, right? Sir, do you have Sony television? You'll say, no, I have only Samsung. All right. And they go away. So he is one person whom you have lost. In this way, say there are 69% of the people who are going away without purchasing because you do not have variety. So you list down that also. Now, there are, how many did I do it? 89. Another 8% of the people, they're not coming to you because of some other reason. Because they did not like your shop, because the cost is high, whatever be it. So you're bucketing entire thing into one category. Now if I look at this, Anuj, where do you see there is a major problem?
Where it's within 69%.
Correct. You are going with this 69%, absolutely correct. This intuitively, what you have done in your brain, you have used Pareto rule, 80-20 rule. That is why you're going with this highest number called 69%. 69% of my customers are leaving me because there is no variety in my shop. I'm not keeping Samsung, Sony, and other televisions. That is why they're leaving. All right, 69%. Within variety also there will be multiple other categories. Only if you think you'll get to know that. So I'm again thinking and asking myself, What variety are people looking at? Then you come to know that variety means they want everything in one place, that is like a supermarket. They want television, fridge, iron box, washing machine, camera, everything in one location, which you are unable to provide. So you are unable to provide variety in products, right? Or few people come to you. Let me do this. Anuj, if you do not understand, just ask me. So I'm trying to repeat that. So this is with respect to variety. 69% of people are not coming to you because of variety, right? Out of that, when you actually ask the customer before leaving, sir, why are you leaving? He'll say that, sir, I want to purchase product for my new home. I'm newly married. I want all the goods, all the products. Like I want television, I want fridge, I want bed, I want washing machine, I want everything. So I want to purchase everything from one location because I'll get a big discount. All right. How many percentage of people are leaving you in that way? Say there are 40% of the people who are leaving you, who are not purchasing from your shop because of this reason. Then, second, you ask few other people who are leaving, sir, why are you leaving? They might say that we are leaving because you have only Sony television, but I want to compare Sony against Samsung and purchase the best. And also I want to compare LG. Oh, how many people are leaving? Say 20% of the people are leaving. And rest of the people just walk in, they see randomly some kind of window shopping and they move away. 9% of the people do like that. Now within this split, Anuj, where do you see the major problem?
Where there is 40%.
40%, absolutely. Intuitively, again, you have done a Pareto. So 40% of people are telling you do not have multiple products. So now you might want to again split it further, or you can stop here and start addressing this. If I want to do Six Sigma project, I'll not do Six Sigma project for this, for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. I do not have so much time with me. I'll do Six Sigma project for one which is most important, and that would end up being 40%. Getting me? Why are we doing this? To identify what is the problem. What is the root problem? And then I want to address it. That is why I'm splitting it. That is called as drill down tree or problem definition tree.
But
Yeah.
That's fine that we now found that what is the main problem, but what could be the initially problem statement which will encourage us to go
Voice of
more and
customer.
more?
Voice of customer. What is voice
Yeah.
of customer? You go and ask directly customer or the company that you're working with, sir, what is the problem? They might say our profits are decreasing. They might say our sales are not increasing. They might say our products are of below standard, low grade standard. These are all voice of customers. From there you start drilling it down. That is why when we discussed in the initial discussions, we told that we have to come up with voice of customer. From there you come up with critical to quality. From there you come up with your project why. Right? If you remember, even in green belt we have discussed this, that there will be voice of customer, voice of business, right? Cost of poor quality. You try to identify all these things and then you pick up one project which is called as critical to quality. Then you come up with the project Y, because Y is equal to f of x. What is the output that you want to improve? Janusz, remember this? This is the starting point, right? You go and ask them, or you conduct some kind of a survey and identify. Yeah, all right. So third rule for making splits. Split boxes must be accessible. That is, you should be given an opportunity to run experiments or gather data that rule boxes out. Okay, this is the incorrect way of splitting. Material defects, processing defects. Right? So instead, what are you doing? You're correctly splitting it so that it's accessible to you. You're telling, let me not split it based on what types of defects directly. Let me put the location of defects. Are the locations more towards the left side of the car or towards the right side of the car? Which is called as concentration diagram. You're manufacturing cars, for example, you're checking both the left side and the right side. You notice that left side there are a lot of problems. Again you ask another question. Why are so many defects only on the left side? Then again you're splitting. Right? You're telling because the parts are not manufactured properly. And it might be because people have not assembled the parts properly. These are all the various ways of splitting. But you can split in your own way by bringing in your domain knowledge. Okay. If you have knowledge about automobile manufacturing, you'll probably be splitting in this way. If you have knowledge about telecom industry and the problem is related to telecom industry, you'll split in a different way. Domain knowledge is always important before making these kind of splits. All we are doing is we are decomposing or breaking down the problem into lower level. All right, Anuj, or any doubt?
So far, okay.
Yeah. All right. So we also have to identify primary and secondary metric. Primary metric is nothing but your project Y. It is the output of the process that we can measure, which if we improve will lead to greater satisfaction. How did we get project Y? First we identified voice of customer, from there we have come up with critical to quality, from there we have come up with project Y. Now, if suppose in your company they say that quality of the products are poor. Okay, quality of the products are poor. That is your voice of customer. So what should you improve straight away? You know that you need to improve the quality. That will be a primary CTQ. Improve the quality. Reduce the defects. Or measure the defect percentage. Those are all your CTQs. But how will you improve your quality? I can improve quality in multiple ways. Probably I can hire more people who will work on the project so that everyone gets less amount of work and he can probably do a thorough testing. Or you might say that, let me do one thing, since the quality is low, let us bring in another 10 people who does testing. So in order to hire 10 people for testing, how much will it cost on an average? Say each person you are paying 5 lakh rupees. So 10 people, 50 lakh rupees. How did you improve your quality? By spending 50 lakh rupees. Now if you go and tell your senior management that, hey, you had a problem with your quality, I fixed it. They'll ask you, how did you fix it, Anuj? You'll say, I've hired 10 more people. They have done additional rounds of testing. Hence the quality has improved. But how much did the testers cost you? 50 lakhs. And then your senior management will be upset. They will say you have improved quality at the expense of 50 lakhs. Which is pathetic. Right? Hence, you have to also include your secondary metric. If you want to improve your quality, you improve your quality. No doubt about that. You'll have to improve this. But you'll have to maintain your cost constant. You should not increase your cost. Without increasing my cost, I have to improve quality. That is the real success. Not just like that hiring people, hiring the softwares, and then getting the job done or improving the quality. That will not help. Maintain your cost constant and try to improve, right? So your improving quality is called as primary metric. Cost is called as secondary metric. Yeah. All right. Let us look at this example also. You want to improve the delivery time. Primary metric is time to deliver product since order is placed. Your Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon, eBay, everyone does this, right? Time to deliver product since order is placed. I order something online. How much time is it taking for me to receive the product? That is time to deliver. I want to improve this. We can reduce this time by excessively increasing inventory. If I have a lot of inventory, if I have a lot of laptops with me, the moment anyone orders laptop, immediately I can ship it to him. Immediately I can deliver it to him. But don't you think the inventory cost is going to increase? Because you have to store everything in a godown. Cost of godown will go up. You need to have security guards who will take care of that godown. Security cost. You need to have some kind of a tie-up with the fire department. If there is fire, immediately they have to come and do that. So again, it is a cost. You have to insure all the products that you're placing in your godown. Insurance cost. The moment you increase your inventory, your cost is going to increase tremendously. But the logic is that ensure that the cost remains constant, but your time to deliver is reduced. Hence, you're going to put your secondary metric. And that would be the amount of inventory in the system. I want to manage the amount of inventory in my system, but at the same time, I want to improve the time to deliver. Yeah, is this clear, Anuj? All right. Now, here are a few more things, Anuj. So this is an exercise once again. I have given you the primary metric or
today I will send you what I have done so far,
Yeah.
and then this one I will send you tomorrow. Right?
Yeah. And please send me the secondary metrics for this. All right.
Oh.
Finally, we are drafting a project chart. What are the main
But we haven't selected the project here.
Sorry? Sorry, Anuj, I didn't get you.
No, I was just telling you that we haven't selected the project yet.
Yeah. No, we are just understanding the flow and the concept. That's it.
Okay, but I think just keep in mind, like if we can, is anything which we can done parallel and then later on as well. Once, but anyway, I'll leave it to you. You know the better.
Yeah, sure. All right. Project charter. What are the main components of project charter? First thing is business case. What are the business reasons for launching this project? What are the expected benefits? As I've told you, business case contains what is it that you're going to save as part of this project? The money. This creates urgency in the senior management. The moment they hear that Anuj is planning to save $1 million, they'll immediately listen to you. They'll come to you. They'll ask you, what is it that you're doing? So getting these dollars, money is very, very important. It has to be mentioned in your business case. Then opportunity statement. What is the pain area that we are experiencing? Where is that pain area and how much? What is the pain area? My sales are decreasing. Where? In my television department. How much? They got reduced by 80%. You have to mention in that way your opportunity statement also. Next thing is your goal statement. What are the improvement objectives? And we know that always our goals should be SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Next thing is project scope. What is in scope and out of scope? And we know that we can also use SIPOC to come up with the project scope. project plan is always at a high level in project charter. We will say probably that define phase is going to start on 10th of November and it's going to end on 30th of November. Measure phase is going to start on 1st of December and end on 31st December. Analyze phase is going to start on 1st of Jan and end on 15th of Jan. So you're going to give these kind of high level details in project plan. But what will you do on 10th? What will you do on 11th? What will you do on 12th of November? What will you do on 15th of December? All these day-wise tasks would be available in the detailed plan. But the detailed plan is not part of your project charter. Project charter only contains high-level details. Then we also list the team member details. Who are the team members who are going to work on your project? What are their responsibilities? Two things to remember here. Team members should always be full-time. If at all they are part-time, the Six Sigma project should be their first preference. Second thing, team should always be cross-functional. Cross-functional means maybe people from different departments or people who have multiple skills or different skills. The different skill set people will stay on your team. So that is all about the team members.
Okay, now the question is it the Six Sigma Black Belt consultant is expected to be work as a project manager, or he has to worry about all these things, or he will be hired as a consultant into the one of the project team?
Yeah, he'll be hired into one of the project teams, and this project charter, ideally speaking, should be written by your project sponsor. The person who is asking you to do this project, he is a project sponsor who will pay you the amount, who will give you the resources required and all that. But yes, Six Sigma consultant is expected to work or should be involved while coming up with this project charter. The project sponsor should sit along with the Six Sigma consultant and write down this, because you are the person who is better placed to write this or write this, write this, right?
But then project charter or the project sponsor who is writing the project charter should know that I have to hire the full-time consultant, or is it something Six Sigma consultant needs to advise you?
We are expecting that, project sponsor is a champion, he knows everything, but he might not know everything. He might not even be a Six Sigma trained person. So in such scenarios, we explain him. We tell him that, sir, the team members should always be full-time. If he says, how can they be full-time? I cannot give you full-time resources. It's really difficult. Already we are understaffed. He might say a number of things. Then you will say, if that is the case, sir, I want them to take up Six Sigma project as their highest priority. If they are working on 3 projects, I want Six Sigma to be their highest priority. He has to agree at least on that. But the team should always be cross-functional, no doubt about that. Here you cannot compromise at all. He cannot say, why do you want people from HR department? I'll give you people from only finance department, because we are impacting the finance of the company. Then you have to say, sir, though it is finance company, finance department, we will have interdependencies on HR, sales and marketing, logistics and many other things. Hence, I want people from those departments, because I need to understand the holistic picture. Got it? Yeah. All right, Anuj. So describe the objective of the project. What is the improvement the project will deliver? Sorry. Are you going to increase your sales? Are you going to increase your profits? Are you going to reduce your defects? Are you going to reduce your rework? Right? All these things are improvements you have to mention. How will the project success be measured? There has to be some metric. Increase in profits. Defects reduction percentage. So you have to mention those things. This is how I'm going to measure. You also have to mention what specific parameters will be measured. Intangible and intangible measures. Tangible means, are you aware of this, Anuj? Tangible, intangible benefits.
No.
Tangible measures means something that you can touch and feel and measure it. Intangible measures are your satisfaction or your dissatisfaction, your happiness, your sadness. These things cannot be measured. Brand image. Apple has a good brand image in the market. Can you measure that brand image? Difficult. Anuj is very happy today. To what extent he is happy can I measure? No. Right? So intangible things are something that you cannot actually touch and feel and measure. Last thing is, goal should be SMART. We have discussed this: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and small. And also you need to provide what is the timeline for delivery of the results. So if you're starting Six Sigma project today, by when can you complete it? How much time are you going to take? Typically 3 to 6 months. Then at last, sorry, you define y is equal to f of x, y is the output, which is a function of multiple inputs. Alright, let us look at this problem statement. Our customers are not paying credit card dues on time. That is a problem. Voice of customer.
This is voice of business, right?
Which one?
Customers are not paying.
Are you working for a banking company? Are you hired by this company? Yes. If you are hired by that company, then it's voice of business. Are you an external consultant to this company? Will you just do consulting work and go away? Then it is called as voice of customer.
But still, our customers are not paying credit card. Okay. So
correct.
Pain area is company is not making the or the bank
okay.
is not.
Okay, I'll tell you this, Anuj. You go to HSBC Bank, and the bank manager says, our customers are not paying credit card dues on time, Anuj. Can you please help with that? So what will this statement be for you?
Voice of customer is
correct. Suppose you are already an employee.
Customer is bank.
Correct. Already you are employee of HSBC. Assume you're already an employee of HSBC. Then your manager calls you and says, Anuj, our customers are not paying credit card dues on time. Then what will it become? Voice of business.
Then it will be the voice of customer. Oh, yeah.
Voice of business, because you are part of that, and you are looking into the external customers.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this way, you actually categorize it. But that is why we say VOC, VOB. We combine those statements and make combined statement. All right. Here is the improved example. In the last 10 months, in the Asia Oceanic region, 20% of our credit card users are more than a month late in paying their dues. The percentage of late payments is up from 10% to 30% of outstanding receivables. This is negatively affecting our recoverable cash flow by $1,000 USD. Right? So it has to be very clear. I think in Greenbelt also we have done this. When did the problem start? Where is the problem occurring? What is the exact problem? What is the magnitude of the problem? And what is the impact it's going to have? So now the goal statement will be, I want to reduce the percentage of late payments to 15%. Since it's 30%, I want to reduce it by 50%. So I'll reduce to 15% in next 3 months. And I'm going to give company a saving of $500,000. They are losing so much now, but I'll give you so much as benefits. That will be your goal as a Six Sigma consultant. Next, this is a poor statement written. Shipping damage is increasing. All right. If a person is telling me that shipping damage is increasing, then you'll further ask him, shipping of what is decreasing? He'll say shipping of televisions is decreasing. When? during first 6 months of 2008. It has, by how much? It has increased to 12% from 5%. Then you will say that, okay, let me reduce this shipping damage to 5% by the next 6 months. Got it, Anuj? Customers will not tell you everything that you want. CEO of the company or your manager will not tell you everything that you require. He might simply put forward this statement: shipping damage is increasing. But then it's responsibility of black belts to actually probe and ask, okay, shipping of television, shipping damages is increasing, but for what? Then it's for a television. So what you got it? When? During the first 6 months. By what magnitude? From 12% to 5%. Right? And you, if you want, you can also ask impact, where, all those things. And then you will have to come up with a goal statement. Goal statement is simple. I want to reduce it to 5% by next 6 months. All right. Should we stop, Anuj, or shall I continue?
Can we stop? Is it okay?
Yeah.